Welcome, MLS Listings subscribers. This is Mark Messmer, the Director of Professional Development for MLS Listings, and I'm sitting today with Robert Bustamante, our Director of Compliance. And Robert, NAR recently did a change, or has proposed a change, to their national MLS policy, and they're calling it clear cooperation. What is that?
Thanks, Mark. It's NAR did change their national policy. It's going under several names. Some people know it as Policy 8, Policy 8 Statement, Clear Cooperation. But generally, it's a change to their policy that's going to affect MLSs across the country.
Got it. Okay.
What they've done is they've changed the way exclusive listings are going to be handled by the brokerage.
And just for clarification, an exclusive listing is where I've got the listing agreement, but I'm not sharing it with everyone. I'm only sharing it with maybe people in my office.
Right. Generally speaking, the mechanics are that a seller will direct you to not put it on the MLS.
Okay.
And then it becomes what's called an office exclusive. And people will advertise or promote the listing within their brokerage.
Got it.
Well, what NAR is stating in their policy changes, it's okay to continue to do that. I want to make that clear. Even under Policy 8 or Clear Cooperation, there's nothing wrong with a seller directing you to keep it off the MLS, keep it exclusive.
But I think the key statement you just made was the seller directed.
Right. The seller directs the broker to keep it off the MLS and keep it within the brokerage.
Okay.
And NAR agrees that sellers have that right. What the policy change is that you cannot advertise it outside of the brokerage. If you do, then you must enter it on the MLS within 1 business day.
Okay. So I'm going to put up on the screen here the actual rule as it's currently written. And I'd like to go through that and maybe sort of break it into pieces and make sure we've got clarity on each piece.
Right. So if you have an office exclusive, it starts off with 1 business day of marketing the property to the public. You must then submit it to the MLS for cooperation with other brokers. And it starts to break down what public marketing means, and it's pretty broad. It means anything outside of communication within your brokerage. So a sign in the front yard is advertising to the public. Email blasts to agents outside of your brokerage, it's advertising.
Okay.
Standing up in a tour and saying, I have a coming soon to agents in other brokerages would be advertising that to the public.
And that's a common every week. We see that at the tour meetings.
And so if you're going to do that, you must then, within 1 day, add it to the MLS for cooperation.
Got it. And in our MLS right now, that could just be putting it in as a coming soon.
Coming soon would qualify, yes.
Okay.
It would qualify, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are offering cooperation.
Right.
Right, that's the key element, is that NAR, the background and how we got here was, they were keeping the listing exclusive to the broker and a select group of people outside of the brokerage. So it would be excluding all the other agents.
Right.
So it was not cooperative, and it wasn't in the consumer's best interest. That's the rationale. That's what NAR said why they needed a policy change.
Okay.
Was that by distributing it to just a small group outside of the brokerage was not pro-competitive and therefore not in the consumer's best interest. By distributing it to the broader subscriber base, that is more in the consumer's interest. It's easier for them to get a competitive position on the pricing, availability, days to market, that kind of thing.
Now, back in November, NAR got together in San Francisco for their national convention, and they took a vote on this, right?
Yeah. So
and how did that vote turn out?
Yeah. So that's a good point. It was overwhelming in favor of this initiative.
Okay.
It was 729 to 70.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are all the NAR directors across the country. This isn't just California or Bay Area.
Right.
Texas, Wyoming, you pick a state, Florida.
Everybody got in on this.
Everybody got in and they said, you know what? This is better for the world, better for the consumer, better for America.
Okay.
If you...
everyone gets to see the listing.
Everybody gets to see the listing.
Right.
And when you think about it, it's really true. Agents today, outside of this policy, have to go to many different places to see what's available on the market.
For their client, for their buying client, right.
So you might have to join this private network. You might have to go to this private network.
Right,
You might
go
have
to that meeting.
Go to that meeting, that website.
Right.
And so the MLS, making the MLS the major repository of all of the listing information, is the logical candidate, logical choice to require them to put them in for cooperation. So
Okay.
MLSs across the country are going to implement this, and their agents are also going to have to comply with the rule change when it gets in
Got
effect.
it. So just to make sure we're perfectly clear for all of our subscribers, the seller can still state
Yes.
that they wish to have their home sold in an exclusive manner.
Yes, there's many reasons why sellers might do that, but the gist of it is you can still do that. It's no problem. Where it changes is keep it within your brokerage.
Okay.
Once you step outside your brokerage, it's very hard to explain why advertising it to just one or two people outside your brokerage is better than
Opening up,
right.
yeah.
How would you defend that? It's very difficult, right?
Right.
So, so you can keep it within your brokerage.
Okay.
As soon as you step outside your brokerage, you just simply put it on the MLS. Coming soon would work. And there's other things we're doing as an MLS to maybe help ease that addition to the system of your listing.
Okay. And for further clarification, let's say I'm with a national brand brokerage and I'm in the Los Gatos office. Can I also tell people over in Saratoga, or is that?
Right. So one of the things that this policy is it's happening right now is that it is going to be reviewed by CAR.
Got it.
Right, and the CAR directors are going to look at it and see, do we need additional clarity, additional language for clarification, for streamlining it? What are we going to do? We're going to amend it are we going to get it as is, or are we going to amend it to fit California's businesses, right, and California law?
Okay.
One of the things is today it would be your broker of record. So if you're a large brokerage and they have multiple offices and they're all the affiliated licensees are reporting to that broker, affiliated
Right.
with that broker, then that would be within the brokerage.
That's the brokerage.
That's brokerage,
Okay,
right.
okay.
So it's not by brand, it would be by broker.
Got it. Now, what you just said, that's sort of one of the things that our subscribers need to know is that there are some steps that still need to be taken before
Right.
this goes into effect.
Right, so the deadline for implementation is May 1st, 2020.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna be following this very closely. CAR is going to vote on it or review it February 8th.
Okay.
Then they'll make a recommendation for certain language, which our committee and our board will review for implementation. So today, you need not do anything.
Got it.
Right? Well, the purpose of this podcast is to let you know that this is coming and that we'll continually update you as we progress to where it actually gets implemented.
Got it.
So you're never blindsided. You know exactly where you stand. You know exactly what to do, especially as this affects everybody. Up and down the state, it's going to affect Northern California. It's going to affect Southern California, every MLS in the country.
Right. And different MLSs have different technology and maybe even have a different definition of on the MLS. We're going to be working on those technologies between now and that implementation date down in May. But we're going to come back to the microphone and we're going to keep people updated as we get there.
Right, absolutely. And one of the things that we want to share with you is that you don't have to believe me, you don't have to believe Mark. NAR has all of these resources available for you. So you can go to nar.realtor and keyword clear cooperation or policy 8, and they will give you all the resources they have available. They have webinars.
Okay.
They have a really good FAQ that answers some of those scenario questions. What if? What does this mean to me in this regard? Which we aren't going to be able to answer in the time we have today.
Right.
But it's all there for you, and they keep updating it as they get new feedback or as they get new definitions. So
And
nar.realtor.
And the genesis for this podcast was you've already been out in the field at some offices, sort of doing workshops and discussions and that sort of stuff.
Right.
So in January, February, March, are you going to still go out in the field? And can our subscriber invite you in?
Sure, yeah. We're happy to come and visit the office and tell you what we know and kind of generally assuage people's concerns and fears. You know, they have it, since it's a sweeping change, they might have a sky is falling type
Absolutely, they could,
response.
yeah.
And what we're finding out, because we're looking for feedback. What do you think? Because we're talking about the implementation ourselves.
Right.
We found that people are generally very accepting of this policy. That
Okay.
most of them, it seems to be, my personal takeaway is that it's a relief that they don't have to play this game with exclusions and these clubs
Right.
and this type of thing. They can be very forthright with their seller, and they can say, this is all the available inventory because I have MLS access.
Right, and it will come back to, I only have to go one place to find everything.
Right, exactly, and that's the value of cooperation, is
Got
that
it.
it's in one place.
Okay, and it's clear cooperation.
And it's very clear. And so they're nice segue. It's a very clear cooperation, and people tend to like it. We think it's going to be, when you go back in time a little bit,
Right.
The system was very much like that. Only recently has the development of this off-market MLS club
Right.
thing happened.
Sort
But
of
it's really-
clouded over. It's
yeah,
in
it
there
really was
somewhere.
sort of a detriment to the overall industry. And I think that's why NAR had to finally take a position and say, you know what, it's better for the consumer if we cooperate.
Well, with that incredible vote of 700 and something to not many, it clearly shows that across the nation, the realtor likes this idea.
Yeah, it's overwhelming in
Got it.
favor. Right.
Got it. All right, looking forward to having you back
Okay.
somewhere in the first quarter to keep everyone updated of what's going on. And thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.